If you're a developer thinking about how to protect your software, you've come to the right place. We're about to do a technical breakdown of the key features inside the PC Guard copy protection system. So, what's the plan for this explainer? We're going to give you a straightforward, no-fluff overview of the main features you can use to protect and license your applications. Our goal here is to give you a really clear map of what's possible. So, let's just dive right in. We're going to walk through 6 key areas. We'll start with the foundational security stuff, then move into licensing, distribution, customization, and even some advanced features. By the end, you'll have a complete picture of what the system can do for you.
Okay, first up, core application security. This is the bedrock, right? It's all about that fundamental protection for your code and your intellectual property.
The absolute first line of defense is encryption. What this does is it basically scrambles your application's code, making it totally unreadable to anyone trying to reverse engineer it. In other words, it's what keeps your secret sauce, your unique algorithms and hard work, safe from prying eyes.
Next, we've got copy protection. This one's aimed squarely at piracy. So, while encryption protects your code's secrets, copy protection stops the application itself from being illegally copied and run on machines that aren't authorized. It ensures that every user has a valid license.
Now, beyond those 2 main pillars, you can add even more layers. You can add a simple password for basic access control, but for more advanced security, there's runtime encryption, or RTE. And this is really important because it keeps critical parts of your code encrypted even while the application is running in memory, which is a huge deal for protecting it from memory dumping attacks.
So, your application is secure. Now what? Well, the next logical step is controlling how it's actually used out in the world. Let's get into the flexible licensing and locking models that PC Guard offers.
You've got options for how you tie a license to a specific context. You can use machine locking, which is super common. It binds the software to a particular computer's hardware ID. For situations where you need portability, you can go with USB locking, which ties the license to a physical USB drive. And for simpler cases, there's always folder lock, which just restricts the app to its installation path. And this is where you can really see the flexibility for your business model. On one side, you can easily create trial or demo versions with things like execution limits or expiration dates. And on the other, you can issue full licenses using unique serial numbers, which removes all those limits and can even enable network licensing for your corporate customers. Okay, securing and licensing your app is one thing, but managing it all in the real world, that's a whole other challenge. This next section is all about the features that support the entire lifecycle of a license, from start to finish. PC Guard really gives you the tools for that full journey. You can securely distribute your protected software, no problem, but then you can also manage that license over time. You have options to easily extend it, you can let a user transfer it to a new computer, or you can even securely remove it if it's no longer needed. And here's a really critical point for any developer's bottom line. The licensing is royalty-free. What that means is you can protect and distribute as many applications as you want, an unlimited number, without paying any extra fees per copy you sell. That's a huge plus. All right, let's talk about customization. PC Guard isn't just some black box you have to live with. It actually gives you some really deep control over both the user-facing elements and the internal rules that your application follows. And the level of control here gets very specific. For instance, you can set rules to limit how many instances of your app can run at the same time. You can restrict access based on the Windows user type. You can even manage secure custom counters right from your own code. Plus, you get control over update policies, which is great for keeping your users on supported versions. Of course, the user experience is totally under your control too. You can swap out all the default PC Guard dialog boxes with your own custom branded ones, so you get a really seamless look and feel. On top of that, there's an integrated languages editor that lets you manage and translate all of the user-facing messages. Okay, now let's get into the advanced features. This is where we start talking about some of the more sophisticated threats out there and how to protect the modern development environments that, many of us are working in today. A classic trick to get around machine-locked licenses is to use virtual machines, right? Because their hardware IDs can be cloned pretty easily. Well, PC Guard's VM detection feature tackles this head-on by giving you the power to block your application from running in those virtualized environments. And in a similar vein, to stop one license from being shared by a whole team, you can just disable remote access. This feature blocks the application from being used over services like Windows Remote Desktop and others like it. It's a simple, effective fix. And this is absolutely crucial for a lot of you out there. This protection isn't just for traditional compiled apps. There is specialized support for modern stacks, and that includes Node.js apps that have been packaged with Nextc or PKG, as well as Python apps built with PyInstaller or Nootka.
So let's bring it all home. We're going to quickly summarize the broad capabilities we've just walked through.
What we've seen is a really comprehensive solution. It covers every single stage, starting with that core security for your code, then moving to flexible licensing models, full lifecycle management, deep customization options, and finally, those advanced protections for modern threats. It's the whole package.
So now it's time to think about how all these tools can apply to what you're building. Looking at everything we just covered, the real question is, which of these capabilities are you going to use to protect and monetize your next software project?